Everything exists in contrast. You can appreciate how quiet it is because it was just really loud. You can appreciate how sunny it is outside if it rained the day before. You can appreciate how healthy you feel right after you've had the flu and were bedridden for a week. This is something that I'm learning more and more to appreciate. I don't remember which book I read it in. I think it was called The Vortex. It talks about how everything in life exists in contrast. Like literally you would not understand the concept of light if it were not for darkness. You would not understand how it feels to be pain-free if you didn't understand how it felt to be in pain. So this is not me trying to get you to manifest pain or manifest rainy days, figuratively or literally, but it's to help you appreciate what those things do for you symbolically. I know firsthand that I have never been a more grateful person than the person that I am as soon as a plane lands on solid ground. For the past several years, I've been working through a crippling fear of flying, and it's something I'm working on. Honestly, it's been getting better every single time, and I think I've reached a new breakthrough. By the way, if that interests you, let me know. I'll make a video on it. But because I've probably spent the past hour or so in crippling fear of thinking I'm going to die, like catastrophizing the whole world, the second that that plane touches the ground, and I know that I'm safe and the wheels stop moving and we're good, and then they turn the seatbelt sign off and I can get up, like that 15 minutes of deplaning, I am so incredibly grateful for life. Like I'm down for whatever. Like if Ahmed wants to get me to do something that I usually don't feel like doing for him, if he would just ask me, and I hope he doesn't watch this, but if he would just ask me in those 15 minutes, I am just so grateful to be alive that I will just do whatever. And slowly but surely, after those 15 or 20 minutes or whatever are up and we're getting our bags and getting in the Uber or whatever, I slowly but surely start to go back to my set point, which I'm typically a pretty positive and grateful person, but not nearly as grateful as I am in that moment. And it's because of the contrast of how I was feeling just moments before. I know that you can relate to the one I'm about to tell you, where it's a safe assumption that if you're watching this, you've probably contracted COVID at least once since 2020, or you've gotten some sort of sickness like having the flu or whatever. When you were on that couch, bedridden, cannot even really taste your food, which again, you only really understand what taste is. Your appreciation for taste was probably so high in that moment where you were eating and couldn't taste anything. But even aside from that, like you couldn't get up and move your body a lot. You might have felt very dizzy. You might have felt like a lot of brain fog. I promise you in that moment, I'm like, why don't I work out every day? I would give anything to work out in this moment. I can't even believe that there are days where in a healthy version of this body, I don't feel like getting on a treadmill or going for a walk or, touching some grass outside. Because that contrast of me, I'm literally looking at the couch that I was sitting on for like weeks, and I'm just imagining like how excited I'm going to be to finally get on the treadmill. And yeah, sure enough, maybe the first day out or the second day out, I am so grateful and I bring this energy to the treadmill, but then slowly but surely it tapers off back to the place where sometimes I'm excited, sometimes I'm dreading it. And I want you to understand how important the hard times are in coloring the highs. The lows color the highs differently. And around 80% of the time, we are operating in whatever our set point is, which can change, by the way. Like if you are usually operating in kind of a lower, maybe even depressive state, you can do things that slowly but surely start to elevate that. But wherever that gets elevated to, even if it's like me, I'm usually energetic and happy and passionate, that feeling is still very moderate, even in the happy days, compared to how high I feel after a low, how amazingly grateful I feel after recovering from sickness, how grateful I am for my clear skin after a really bad breakout. Like that is just normal. So this is not me telling you to chase the lows. Like don't do that. But understand that when those lows naturally make their way into your life, when life kind of throws you off balance like it will, don't try to fight it so much, and understand that these moments where you're off balance and not feeling like yourself and not feeling happy are going to make the next day after that colored with so much gratitude. And you need these little reminders of how bad things could get in order to help you realize how good they actually are 99.999% of the time. This was just a little thought that I had. As you can see, we are packing up our place. I'm really excited for some new beginnings coming up very soon. But yes, my love, just understand that if things are particularly hard right now, understand that this too shall pass. And instead of agonizing and just feeling like trying to fight this feeling, let it expose to you the potential for gratitude and excitement about life that you actually do have. As you are feeling so low and so emotional and so defeated, let it expose to you the craving that you actually have for life, because that's a beautiful thing. Like now when I'm freaking the F out on the airplane, I'm able to look at it like, wow, I actually really love living. I actually really love my life. Sometimes when I go on vacation, this might sound super crazy to you, but every single time I go on vacation or go on a trip, which I'm very grateful to be able to do, all that ends up happening is by the end of the trip, I'm dying to come back home because I actually love my life. Like that is a beautiful feeling to show me like I'm getting tired of this vacation. I'm getting impatient with the lack of routine and things feeling a lot more like up in the air. I'm getting impatient with the trip back home and flying. And all that exposes to me is how much I truly love my life and that this is not something I'm ever really trying to escape. Like literally, we were traveling for the past month and I was getting so bored of being in LA. I don't feel bored very often. So for me to be bored of being home was a very foreign feeling for me. And then as soon as we left, it was like, wow, okay, cool, fresh, fun, cool. But then by the end of it, I was so ready to be back. Like I was getting restless. I was getting annoyed and impatient with all of the lack of routine, and our sleep schedule was all messed up because we traveled overseas. Like there was just so much up in the air. And while I was so grateful to be able to travel and interrupt our, regularly scheduled programming, that feeling of restlessness just exposed to me how obsessed I really am with my real life. I'm obsessed with my boring life. I love my boring life. I am always excited to come back home, but look at that feeling. The past few days, I've just been on a high being home. And yes, that will slowly taper off. But this shows me that I really love my life. I allowed those feelings of restlessness and just, irritation of wanting to come back home exposed to me how much I truly am obsessed with this boring life that I'm living. People always try to talk about the calm before the storm. But I remember when I was in like my deep grief process, I wrote this little one-liner and it was, there's a calm after the storm too. And I just want to leave you with that. There is a calm after the storm, and maybe calm is not what you want. There is an excitement after the mundanity. Mundanity? There is a lust for life after the suffering. There is a gratitude during and after the grief. Like every single emotion that you feel has a balance. So as low as you're feeling right now, understand that that only means, all that can mean just by the laws of life and physics, that there is an equal or greater force to that feeling of feeling so low and depressed and unhappy. I hope that if you're feeling hopeless, that gives you hope for the amount of positivity and excitement that is about to enter your life. Let me know what this brought up for you. I love you so much. Let me get back to packing up this apartment. As always, stay powerful, my love.